We like to believe we are in control of our minds, confidently seated behind the wheel, consciously navigating our lives according to will and reason. But it doesn't take long, upon even the most casual introspection, to realize this belief is, at best, an illusion. More often than not, we are being guided by a deeper, unseen mechanism, an internal navigation system that knows more than we do, that makes decisions before we realize we're making them. We are conscious of only the screen, the interface, the display, while the complex software running beneath it, and the even more intricate hardware supporting it, remain invisible. If we do not examine this internal system, how it works, where it tries to take us, and how to override it when it errs, we run the risk of drifting through life aimlessly, arriving not at the destination we would have chosen, but one that feels foreign, even catastrophic. Few thinkers in history have attempted to map out this internal architecture with the breadth, depth, and nuance of Carl Gustav Jung, a Swiss psychiatrist, philosopher, and mystic whose life's work was a relentless exploration of the psyche from within. Jung sought not only to understand the unconscious forces that shape our behavior, but to build a systematic way of engaging them, integrating them, and ultimately becoming whole. Carl Jung was born in 1875 in the small Swiss village of Keswil to Paul Jung, a pastor of modest means, and Emily Jung, a deeply spiritual and psychologically troubled woman who claimed to converse with spirits. His early environment was marked by contradiction: a father rooted in dogmatic religious duty and a mother steeped in emotional instability and mysticism. Jung was a solitary child, often withdrawn and absorbed in rich, inner fantasies. He spoke little but observed deeply adults, social dynamics, his own shifting moods, and engaged in complex imaginative play that bordered on dissociative. School posed a particular challenge. Jung struggled academically and emotionally, fainting frequently in what may have been unconscious attempts to avoid the classroom. But a pivotal moment came when his father voiced serious concerns about his future. Motivated by this challenge and perhaps by the desire to assert his intellectual autonomy, Jung underwent a dramatic transformation. He began reading voraciously, delving into philosophy, mythology, and religious texts far beyond his years. After rejecting a path in theology, Jung pursued medicine at the University of Basel and later specialized in psychiatry at the University of Zurich. There, under the mentorship of Eugen Bleuler at the Burghalsli Psychiatric Hospital, he encountered the strange and often terrifying depths of the human mind: schizophrenia, hallucination, obsession, repression. It was a crucible in which his theories began to simmer. In 1907, Jung met Sigmund Freud, the towering father of psychoanalysis. Their first conversation famously lasted 13 uninterrupted hours. Jung, young and brilliant, was seen by Freud as a kind of heir, a rising star who could carry forward the psychoanalytic legacy. They became fast friends and collaborators, traveling together, analyzing each other's dreams, and discussing the mysteries of the mind. But the relationship was unequal. Freud, older and more established, saw himself as the mentor. Jung, intellectually ambitious and spiritually inclined, was never content to stay in a subordinate role. Cracks in their alliance emerged gradually but widened rapidly. Freud's framework was rooted in a biological and reductionist view of the psyche. Neuroses stemmed from repressed sexual drives and early childhood trauma. Jung, by contrast, envisioned the psyche as vast, symbolic, and evolutionary. He believed in the reality of spiritual experience and the power of archetypal imagery. Their final split in 1913 was both ideological and deeply personal, a rift that left Jung unmoored but liberated. After the rupture with Freud, Jung entered a period of intense inner crisis, a psychological breakdown or breakthrough depending on the lens. From 1913 to 1918, he withdrew from public life and turned inward, engaging in a series of vivid, often terrifying visionary experiences. He recorded these in what would later be published as the Red Book, an illuminated manuscript of dreams, fantasies, dialogues with internal figures and mythic symbols. This period was Jung's great descent, his self-initiated journey into the unconscious to discover, as he later put it, the soul. Rather than resist these visions, Jung studied them, mapped them, even dialogued with them. He saw them as messages from the deeper layers of the psyche, not symptoms of madness but communications from the self. This period shaped the core of his theoretical contributions and initiated his lifelong commitment to a model of psychology that encompassed myth, religion, symbolism, and the transcendent. At the heart of Jung's psychology lies a grand ambition: to understand the full structure of the human psyche and to help individuals become whole by integrating all of its parts. The psyche in Jungian terms refers to the totality of the mind: conscious thoughts, unconscious drives, emotions, instincts, memories, and archetypes. He divided this internal world into three primary domains: consciousness, the personal unconscious, and the collective unconscious. Consciousness is the realm of everyday awareness, where we identify with a sense of self and continuity. At the center of this domain lies the ego, the psychological construct that organizes our sense of I. It narrates our identity and seeks to maintain consistency. But the ego is not the self. It is merely a fragment, a surface. Attached to the ego is the persona, the mask we wear to meet the expectations of society. It's the version of ourselves we curate, project, and perform. Although necessary, the persona can become suffocating if mistaken for the true self. In the process of adaptation, we often hide away anything deemed unacceptable, weak, or strange. These repressed elements are pushed into the personal unconscious. These repressed contents, fears, shame, forbidden desires, traumatic memories, make up what Jung called the shadow. The shadow is the dark twin of the persona, the part of us we deny, but which continues to influence us unconsciously. Confronting the shadow is not a metaphorical exercise. It is the most challenging and essential task of individuation, the process of becoming whole. Until the shadow is brought into the light, it operates autonomously, often projecting itself onto others in the form of judgment, hatred, or envy. But Jung went further than Freud or any of his contemporaries. Beneath the personal unconscious, he theorized a deeper layer, the collective unconscious, a universal reservoir of psychological material inherited across generations. Within this vast inherited landscape lie the archetypes, primordial images and motifs that organize human experience. The mother, the hero, the trickster, the wise old man, the child, the shadow, and many more. These archetypes are not learned, Jung argued, they are instinctual psychic structures, inherited like instincts and activated through experience. The presence of these archetypes across mythologies, dreams, and symbols of unrelated cultures convinced Jung of their reality. They offer a universal grammar of the human mind, a shared symbolic language that transcends time and geography. At the core of Jung's model